Hello, and welcome to the live. I hope my audio is working this time. I did test it out earlier today, and it seemed like it was working, so let me know quickly if my audio is not working. I need to move this just a smidge this direction. All right, I'm here finally. It's been over a month since I did a live stream. So if you're out there and you can hear me, please let me know if you can hear me. 50 years old, still trying to learn technology, and sometimes it is a challenge. But I haven't been on live since April 22nd. Oh my goodness, all the things in my life that have changed and how busy I've been recently. Anyway, hopefully I'll be able to see the chat too. I think, if you hear me, go ahead and send me something saying you can hear me. April 22nd. What have I been doing? Oh my goodness. Pretty much April and May, as far as my main business, is the busiest time of the year, except for kind of right now as well. I am in the shirt business, obviously you guys know, and down there at the bottom right of your screen there, you'll see one of my businesses, and I am a merchandiser for the UIL here in Texas. And so for Region 1, so I sell t-shirts at regional events. And we had regional golf, tennis, track and field all over the place. And so I've been very, very busy with that. And then we get into May, which I finish up some track and field in May. Then my youngest daughter, my last child that is in high school, is graduated. And so for the month of May, between working and trying to get ready for this graduation and all the pomp and circumstance that goes along with high school graduation, I have been a little busy for about a month and a half. And now we're getting into camp season. Big into basketball camps. And I've been a mainstay in basketball in this area for quite some time. Was a basketball coach for a while. And so I do a lot of basketball camps. And we've got soccer camps and baseball camps and softball camps. So I've been a little busy, and so it's good to be back on the live stream. I do this just for fun because I like to hear myself talk. My wife tells me I just like to hear myself talk. I'll talk about kind of some of the videos that we have released since April 22nd. But I want to start with a big thank you. We have grown very quickly as a channel, and I think the reason why is I'm trying to provide instruction for beginning bowlers and bowlers that are over 50, obviously, because that's the name of our channel. And most of the channels out there, and again, I watch them all. I mean, I watch Brad and Kyle. I watch the house bowling. I watch some of the things that Mark Baker puts out. And I just watch a lot of YouTube videos. And I think the reason why we're slowly becoming successful is the instruction. I start very, very basic. And I will always do that. I'm going to always try to bring it down to a very basic level. We'll get into some more intricate and more detailed things and more advanced things as we go along in spurts. But I like to teach fundamentals. When I was a basketball coach, X's and O's were not my forte, but I could teach the fundamentals, um, and that's kind of what I focused on is dribbling, passing, shooting. Well, in bowling, it's balance, it's release, it's approach, it's the mental game. And so I do keep things fairly basic, and I try to communicate those things. Um, Not very elementary, that's not the word I'm looking for, but I do want to keep things simple and try to explain things as well as I can explain them. And I think people are responding to that. And I do appreciate it. I just want to say thank you. We don't have very many people on the live stream right now, but they come in hundreds after this has been produced and it's back up on the web. And so I want to thank you to everybody. I think we're one of the fastest growing bowling channels on YouTube right now. Growing so fast that as I produce videos, I have been kind of announcing where we are subscriber wise, and by the time the video actually releases, I am way behind. So you'll hear some videos where I'll say, we're at 3,000 or 4,000 or on our way to 5,000 or whatever, and we are way behind on those videos because right now, as of today, May 20th, we are at 7,000 subscribers, 7,117 subscribers. We have gained, in the last 30 days, we have gained 3,700 subscribers in the last 30 days. And I want to say thank you. We're getting seen more often. The algorithm is picking us up. Our videos are getting a little bit more organic, and people are finding us. Again, this channel, and I say it kind of before every video, is this channel was originally designed for bowlers who were over 50 years old. And that was my thought process that, I'm 50. I don't throw it like the pros. Don't want to throw it like the pros for the most part. I think I do things extremely well. I am a certified coach. I spend a lot of time trying to learn how to coach and how to do things well. I've taken classes on coaching from the USBC, and I just feel like, doing the fundamentals and the basics and things like that are what I'm really good at, and doing those things for people that are in the same shoes that I am in, over 50 years old, was kind of where I thought my niche was going to be. But what we have found over the last few months is we've got a lot of beginning bowlers coming to the channel and wanting instruction. And so I've kind of making my videos now to not only bowlers over 50, but to beginning bowlers who are just coming into the sport and they're wanting to learn. And now nothing I do here should take the place of coaching. If you want to get better faster, then go find you a good certified coach that can watch what you are doing specifically and help you. I think at some point in time on this channel, we will offer some video coaching. We're not at that point right now. Again, it's still just me. I do all the filming myself, all the editing myself. So it's really hard to do much more than what I'm doing right now. So, but I think at some point in time on this channel, we'll be offering some video coaching if you guys are interested. I'm still not sure how to make that happen, but that's kind of my plan at this point, is do some video coaching. But that still doesn't take the place of in-person coaching. And there's a lot of great coaches across the country, and you need to take advantage of those things. But guys, I really do appreciate you guys coming to the channel, watching the videos, making comments, good, bad, or indifferent. I enjoy the comments. I try to answer the initial comment as fast as I possibly can. I'm not always able to do it, within a day or so, but I do get to the initial comments. Now, the subsequent comments or asking if I ask questions, sometimes I have a little trouble finding those in a timely manner, but keep them coming. I enjoy answering questions. I even enjoy the people that want to roast me. I'm not above that. I may quip back if somebody's got something negative to say. Not scared to get into a verbal. I'm a keyboard tough guy, I guess. So are some of the other people out there. They're keyboard tough guys. So anyway, thank you. We're at 7,100. We're up 3,700 in the last 28 days, and I'm real proud of that. We are one of, if not the fastest growing bowling channels on YouTube right now, and I got more videos for you. I've got them coming out. Next one comes out tomorrow. It's going back to some of those funny exercise videos that I've done in the past. You can see them. I'm working on getting shorts done so you can kind of see previews of some of the things that we're going to be talking about, or at least something funny. I will encourage you, in some of the videos we've got coming up in the month of June, to stay to the end, or at least skip to the end if you'd like to. At least skip to the end, because there's some funny things in some of our shorts. The short videos, the previews, they're going to get kind of funny, I think. I've been having a really good time trying to figure out how to have fun and get people to see that, yeah, I'm doing instructional videos, but I'm trying to make them as fun as possible. And I try to be a fun guy. So since our last time together on live, we've had a bunch of videos come out. The first one that came out right after April 22nd, which was the last time I went live, was inside versus outside. And that video, it got a lot of views, and when you're playing a house shot, obviously that particular video doesn't work on sports shots very well. I'll come back to that in just a second, but the inside versus outside is a great way to play a house shot. Playing way to the right outside the track area, you're going to encounter a lot of dry, some natural friction, and it seems to be, for me, a little easier to get the ball on that 5 to 7 degree angle going through the pins if I've got some natural friction. And so I'll throw a lot of pearl balls, bowling balls, at 3, 4, 5 down lane on the outside part of the lane. Recently, and the reason why I did this video specifically is some things have been changing with our house pattern and who I've been bowling in league nights, and I haven't been able to play the outside like I normally do. Some weird things have been going on, and I've had to make some adjustments and really try to hook the ball on our house pattern now from the inside part of the lane. I'm actually covering some boards now, getting in with some of the higher rev bowlers to score. And since April 22nd, I think I've only had maybe 3, maybe 4 700s since we were last live, which is, I'm somewhere between 360 and 740 is kind of where I end up most of the time. And I have really struggled recently playing the outside part of the lane. The ball has been burning up, leaving a ton of 10 pins, and been getting frustrated with that. And then I start missing 10 pins because I'm frustrated with that. And then I really start missing 10 pins because I'm now become nervous. It's all the things that I'm trying to help you guys not do is the things that I am doing. Let's see here. We don't have that many people on the chat. On the live right now. I'm going to look at something real quick. Give me 1 second. Oh. Am I even live? That's the question. Well, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, maybe I am live. Okay. All right. Can we hear me? Sounds like we can hear me. Wave at myself. Let's send myself a message here just to see. Oh, I know this is super entertaining, right? Well, let's see if I can. All right, let's see if I get anything. Yep, well, my chat is working. All right. So inside versus outside, and that's kind of the reason why I did that video is because I have been having a little bit of trouble playing the outside part of the lane, and so I wanted to show a video of how to play the inside part of the lane on a house shot. And again, I said that it doesn't necessarily work on a sports shot, but oh goodness gracious. Doesn't necessarily work on a sports shot. I have bowled recently in a PBA qualifying tournament, and it was a long pattern, which is never my forte, never something I'm really good at. I'm much better with short. When I can use urethane, I'm not bad. When it gets to be a long pattern, having to use a bigger equipment, a little more surface. The ball is traveling down the lane a little too far for my rev rate to be able to get it back. And so long patterns are never my strong suit. My daughter, who you have seen on the channel a couple of times, was watching me, and she kept going, "Dad, get left. Dad, get left. Get left and hook it, Dad. Get that left and hook it." Well, that's the last thing I want to try to do, for sure. I am not real good at getting left and trying to hook it. And so I struggled for 5 games. I'd shoot 190, 2-0, 170, 180, maybe a couple 190s in there and a couple 2-0s, and then a really bad 170 because I couldn't pick up anything. And so the last game I went, well, fine, I'll get left. So I made a pretty big jump from me left, tried to float over the head pin, slowed it way down, and tried to hook the snot out of it, and on pace for 250. That was the inside part of the lane. So when I say that drill, that video, inside or outside, doesn't work on a sports shot, it's not really true. The concepts in that video are true, but yeah, kind of struggled with that. I need to get better. It's on sport patterns, I'm always so scared to get left. and try to hook it with the big boys. I mean, I can slow the ball down. I can rotate my hand around the ball. I can put enough revs on the ball to make it hook enough, on something that's 45, 46 feet. I just never think I can, and that is a problem. So I need to do better with that. The next video that came out after that was around the world with my daughter. She didn't have as much success in that video as she normally does. Normally that would be a game that she would destroy her father in. I think because the lanes were kind of burned up on the outside, she was having a little bit of trouble getting the ball to stay on the right side of the head pin, playing, first arrow. So you need to watch that video. It was fun. I kind of beat her down, but she wants to do it again, but she wants to start from the left side this time and start around 6th arrow or 5th arrow or something like that. And where I struggle, she wants to start there because, first arrow and second arrow are fairly easy for me. And we're going to have her more on the channel. I think you guys are enjoying watching her bowl. She's very good. She's 5 feet tall. Her ball speed is pretty good for somebody being 5 feet tall, and she has been bowling extremely well. She put together an 800. That was on the channel not too long ago. Pretty much every shot she threw of that 800 was I recorded, and which was amazing. Just that I was recording that day because I don't normally do that. And her shooting 800 was pretty spectacular, and she's thrown a couple of 278s and 279s since then. She's really talented, and is learning more and more about bowling, and even helping her dad a little bit, even though her dad will not listen. So we had that video of around the world with her. Spoiler alert, I do defeat her in that. The next video is talking about head position and keeping your head still and getting your chin up and your chest up. I see this a lot in bowlers over 50 because they don't have as much knee bend as they used to, and they feel like they have to get the ball a little closer to the floor, so they start bending at the waist and moving their head. And when you bend at the waist and move your head down, you want to pull your head back up when you release the ball. And the reason why you're doing that is if your chest is pointed towards the ground, the tendency is to want to pull down with your right shoulder. And once you start pulling down with your right shoulder, it creates some misses that you don't want, but it also causes your thumb to go down and keeps you from getting your fingers below the equator of the ball, and it really takes the revs off of that. Not to mention that moving your head all around also affects your target shooting, because it's really difficult to hit a moving target when your head's moving all around. And so I love that video. It's one of the keys that I work on, is keeping my head still, my chin up, and my chest up, which causes some other problems when you're an older bowler. And it's the number one question I get asked now nearly every day, or at least once or twice a week, is why am I so far from the foul line? I answer it in some of the videos. I answer it in the comments. I've gotten to the point where I have a stock answer for people to understand. But I'm going to mention it here too. If you look at my videos, I am 2.5 to 3 feet away from the foul line when I release the ball. There is a reason for that. And I don't know how far I am from them. I've just never measured it. But the reason why I do that is I am 6 feet. I used to be 6'4", 6'3", 300 pounds will shrink a man. And I've recently, well, within the last 8 years, had knee surgery on my left knee. So after I had surgery, I was a little nervous on that leg. I was scared, to be honest with you. I didn't know if that would hold my weight. I didn't want to go too hard towards the foul line because if I stuck or anything like that, I was afraid, my knee would give out or it would hurt. Mainly it would hurt. And I wanted to give myself some room between where I was sliding and the foul line. So if I had to step forward, I could do that. And so that's the way I bowled for 4 to 6 months. Just nervous, just scared. Didn't go very hard to the foul line, and was just nervous about sticking or falling or just the knee giving out. So as I started getting more comfortable, I started getting a little closer and closer and closer to the foul line, going a little bit harder, moving my feet a little bit faster. And as I was doing that, what I noticed was the lack of rev rate I have was causing my ball to hook too late, too far down the lane, further than I wanted it to. And I was having a lot of trouble trying to manage that. And because also at 6'3", no knee bend, if I try to put the ball on the lane early, the ball bounces, and I don't want that. So I needed to project the ball out just a little bit so it would land a little softer. But when I was up close to the foul line, I was projecting that ball almost to the arrows, really. And that has to do with me hitting up on the ball, and something I'm still trying to work on, and I do it still quite often. I hit up on the ball. But just with a normal release, the ball needs to go out just a little bit, so when it lands on the lane, it lands a little softer and starts to slide or skid and not bounce. And so when I was up close to the foul line and doing that, it was going too far down the lane. So I went, I was having much more success when I was further back from the foul line. So I started working on gradually moving back from the foul line to try, when I had my natural loft because of my height and my lack of knee bend, and to get the ball on the lane as soft as possible. That loft, that natural loft I have, trying to get it early enough so that the ball would skid and hook in the right spot and then roll in the right spot. And as I started doing that, I kept creeping back and back and back until I found a pretty good spot that kind of matches up with my natural release. And that's where I am right now, at 2.5 to 3 feet behind the foul line. I like where it is. The ball hooks in the right spot. No matter what the pattern, I can adjust the speed of my feet to still roll the ball from that spot, but either be slower with my feet or faster with my feet. And it seems to be working for me. I have bowled several tournaments where people have asked me that same question, and I gave them that answer. And then it's funny, down the road you'll see them testing it out themselves because they are tall, and I really what speared the interest for me in where I released the ball was Tom Hess, and a guy named Keith Lesko, who we all kind of are 2.5 feet from the foul line. And it works for Tom Hess, it works for Keith Lesko. Well, it probably would work for me. So I have just kept doing that, and I'm getting a few of the older bowlers, the bowlers over 50, who we do not get as close to the foul line as we used to do some things like that. And really, honestly, and you can look at and talk to a lot of high-powered coaches, even more credentialed than me, They're more worried about keeping your chin up and your chest up and less worried about your knee bend. And, you know, they're dealing with people that are 5'8", 5'10", kind of average height people. And they're getting the ball in the lane fairly early. You get to me, which less knee bend and 5 to 6 inches taller, something's got to give. And so I'll just keep my natural loft and stay back behind the foul line and throw it pretty well, in my opinion. But that was one of the things that we were talking about in keeping your head still and your chest up in the video, keep your head still. And then after that, we had a video that seemed to get a little bit more traction. Is why did my bowling ball stop hooking? Lots of comments, lots of questions on that video. And I think I gave some pretty good information that most people don't know. A lot of people have heard the word lane shine. And you assume that lane shine comes from the friction on the back part of the lane and the oil that is clogging up the pores of a bowling ball, and then the ball becomes lane shine and not really hooking all that much. Really, the majority of the damage done to a bowling ball is when the ball exits the back of the lane. Now, friction on the lane is going to, you know, scuff up a bowling ball and make it either more friction on the bowling ball or less, depending on if it was a solid or a pearl. But majority of that damage is done when it exits the pin deck. So for the people who don't know what happens, there's a couple of ways to get pins and a bowling ball to the back part of the machinery so that it can be returned, the ball being returned to you. A lot of A2s, most of the A2, Brunswick A2 machines will have what they call shaker boards. And shaker boards is exactly what it is. It's a board that's underneath that just shakes, it vibrates, and it's slanted towards the back. And that vibration and shaking will move the pins and the bowling balls to the back part of the equipment so the equipment can pick it up. But they put carpet on those shaker boards, and as that thing is shaking and the ball has to get around the pins and the bowling ball are not moved by the same piece of equipment. Pins are moved by a pinwheel, and the ball lifters is the ball lifter. And so the bowling ball has to wait until the pins are out of the way before it can get to where the ball can be picked up. And so it is on that shaker board being shaken and with carpet, and you've got belt dust and regular dust and things that were on the lane and things that were that are just in the air that are on those shaker boards, just chewing and eating away the bowling ball. And then once it does finally get past the pins, that ball gets lifted out of there on something that's got rubber and cork and all kinds of different things to help grip the ball to get it out of the pin deck. And then it gets raised up to an accelerator belt, and the accelerator belt is to push the ball so it goes then downhill, down the ramp. It's got to go up and then back down, and then it's riding on rails underneath the lane until it gets to the ball return, which the ball return has 3 spinners, I believe, that raise the ball from underneath the ground up and out of the ball return. All of those things create friction. All of those things scar the ball. And eventually, because of the amount of oil that your ball is picking up the belt dust, the regular dust, the lint, all the different things that are on and in a bowling center cause that ball to be lane shined and stop hooking. And so that video kind of explains that. I've explained it even more detail here, and then the video shows how to solve some of those problems. Cleaning your bowling balls is the first defense. Then after 80 to 100 games with that ball needs to be, some of the oil needs to be removed from it. It needs to be resurfaced and get that ball to be able to hook again. I bowl with some guys on Monday nights, and he's been throwing the same 3 bowling balls for, I don't know, 10, 15 years. And they are oil soaked and lane shined, and he likes them that way. His bowling ball just doesn't hook. And when there's a lot of oil on the lane, his ball just absolutely has no way to have any traction until the ball hits the dry. He doesn't read the mid lane. He doesn't read, the heads. That ball just goes until it finds dry, and then it moves a little bit left, and that's the way he likes it. He throws 3 balls, pretty much every time in the same order, and they're all 3 exactly the same. They're all lane shine. They all move about the same amount. It's funny that he even changes balls. They all do the exact same thing, and they're all just oil soaked and lane shine like you wouldn't believe. So makes me laugh sometimes. All right, and then after that we had a little video on how I tape my hands. I did a video. My very first video was in taping your hands, and so I did another one because I had some help. I had George. I'm wondering if George is out there listening at some point in time. George was a huge help to me. I hope to use him some more. He's had some experience doing videos, and so I appreciate the help. The eye, helping me make better videos, because I've been doing most of it myself, well, all of it by myself, and so I had a little help from George. I'm still doing the editing by myself. So I wanted to do the hand taping again because I didn't do a very good job the first time, so I did another one. And then I did another practice session video. My first practice session video, excuse me a moment. My first practice session video, it was kind of like a typical practice session for me. And while I was editing that video, I noticed a flaw, which doing these videos, I've been able to correct a few things that I have seen. But in the first practice session video, I saw a major flaw, and I was having trouble that day hitting my spot, hitting what I was looking at. And so I wanted to do another one. So I did another practice session video that explained the push away and how important the push away is to getting your swing in the right slot and moving in the correct direction and getting your swing to be straight. You'll hear me in other videos, and I will always talk about this. It's, you want to move your body around the ball with a crossover step and not the ball around your body. And in the first video, I was pushing the ball out to the side, and it was swinging around my body, and it was slight. It was not over exaggerated. It was not, but it was enough to be a problem where I am used to my misses being no more than a board. My typical miss is maybe a half a board at the arrows, which ultimately down lane can be 2 or 3, maybe even 4 boards down lane, which is a gigantic miss. You know, if I miss 1 board at the arrows, I could miss 4 boards down lane, which that's huge. And so I like my misses to be within a couple of inches, to be honest with you, at the arrows. And I was missing a board to 2 boards during that first practice session. So I noticed that. I was pushing the ball to the side. So I did another video on the practice session to try to keep the ball in front of me and be a more pendulum type action when it came to where my arm was and my swing. And man, that made a huge difference. So yeah, that practice session video, go watch it. It starts very similar to my first one because my practice sessions for the first 20 to 30 minutes all look kind of the same. And then we start to work on, you know, getting that push away in front of me. I say this in my practice session videos, and I'm going to say it now as well. When you go into a practice session, if you're going to practice, don't just throw rocks down a lane. Go in with a purpose. Something you need to work on. I mean, I'm giving you these videos so that while you're watching them, then you can video yourself. Take your iPhone out there or whatever phone you've got, video yourself, take a look and match those up with some of the videos you've watched from me and see if you're doing those things correctly. And if you're not, then, you know, try to correct them. Try to listen to some of the things that I'm suggesting and try to correct those. But when you go into a practice session, don't have 50 different things that you're wanting to work on. You can't do that in even in a couple of hours. You can't do that. And I don't like to practice for a couple of hours. 2 hours, if I'm trying to get ready for a tournament, is the max. A normal practice session for me is an hour. I will spend 1 hour. Anything more than that is probably counterintuitive, counterproductive. An hour and a half if I just am having trouble, or if I just want to go and have some fun. You know, if I've worked for 45 minutes to an hour and I've sort of solved my problem, and I'm videotaping myself while I'm practicing. If I've sort of figured that part out, then I may spend 30 minutes to do something fun, whether it be around the world, a spare game. I did a video recently that won't come out until June, I'm sorry to say, of a drill that was a whole lot of fun. And then, or I may just go pick up a house ball and go have fun with a house ball, see what I could do with a house ball. I've got a video about that coming out in actually July. So when you get into a practice session, don't have 25, 30 things that you want to try to improve on. Let's find the major one. Again, my videos are specific. There's a method to my madness. It's how I coach. It's how I teach. When I do clinics, this is exactly the order in which I do them. I start at the foul line. We do foul line drills. And then I start backing up a little bit. We get to one step. Somebody wanted me to do a power step drill. And I will do, I have not shot that video. I will do a power step drill at some point in time. I think it is a little more advanced. And it's hard, to be honest. I mean, I've been bowling for a while, and the power step drill is difficult for me. So I'm not going to make you guys do something like that I even struggle with. And I'm really not sure how helpful that drill really is. I'm doing the other drills that I know are helpful, and um, so then we get to one step, and then we go all the way back to the beginning to the full approach. But really, we're going to start with a setup and getting set up correctly. Once we get set up correctly, then we start working with the first step of the full approach, and then then crossover step, depending on whether you're a 5 or 4 step approach. And then we start moving back to the foul line, and then it's release drills, and it's getting your release better, and then it's kind of going to go back and forth at this point, from making sure your approach is good and your push away is good and your arm swing is good. And so we go up to the foul line, and then we'll move back. We go up to the foul line, and we move back with all these different videos. So there's a method to my madness. It's we start where we finish, is what I tell my students. I want you to start your practice session where you finish, and end your practice session where you start. And so that's kind of my method to clinics and coaching and all those kind of things. And then after we did this practice session video, I did a video recently on hand positioning. Got a lot of great response on hand position, and I will do a lot more videos on that. This first one was the basics, and where your fingers, how you place your fingers on a bowling ball. And that's kind of what that video was about. And I will be doing a lot more hand position videos as we go along in the months and years down the road. And so those take practice. You can't expect to change a hand position when you've never done it before. You've got to practice those. And it is not a great idea to practice those while you're trying to do it for score. So my suggestion would be to take that video, make some notes, go to the lanes, spend 20 to 30 minutes working on various hand positions. I did have a comment and question because during that video I actually talk about misses. For example, when I tuck my pinky in close to my hand, my miss is left. And the question was, how do you solve that? And how do you guard against that? And so I gave an answer for that, and we will probably do a video about that specifically on how I guard against misses. So if I have to tuck my pinky finger close to the palm of my hand, the challenge is, for me, what happens is I begin the rotation of my bowling ball too early. And when I do that, I pull the ball to the left. So how do I resolve that? How do I fix that? Well, I just focus for a split second, or just keep my mind focused on keeping my hand behind the bowling ball. And I try to hold it there as long as I possibly can. And by doing that, I guard against the miss left by starting my rotation of my hand too early. So if the other thing that I show in this video is something I don't do a ton of, but the interesting thing is, after shooting this video, I had to do it in a tournament where I bring my pinky towards the palm of my hand, but then I actually bend my pinky and tuck my pinky under. So my pinky is bent. And then that is resting the bowling ball more on my index finger when I bend that pinky under. So, the pinky was like this, so that it rotates the ball in my hand to be sitting on my index finger a little bit more. Normally, my hand is in the ball and my fingers are spread out, and that way I can feel the ball in the palm of my hand. And then I can still rotate it a little bit, but I can also go up the back. That makes it a little bit easier for me because I feel like the ball is stable in the palm of my hand. When I tuck that pinky in, it does put pressure on my index finger, here, but it also causes me to want to rotate the ball too early, and that's why I pull it left. When I tuck my pinky, it's the exact opposite, because the ball pressure is now on the tip of my index finger. The ball wants to roll off my hand that way towards my index finger, so my miss is right. So how do I solve that one? Well, it's the same way I solve it when I actually just bring my pinky in, which is try to stay behind the ball a little bit longer. Focus on being up the back of the bowling ball. That way that ball doesn't tip over the index finger and go to the right. So I talk about that in the hand positioning video, and then I had the question about it, and so I elaborated on that a little bit in the comments. If you have comments on any of my videos that are too long for me to type, recently had that with a gentleman from Santa Heckler. He asked a really tough question, and it would have taken me an hour to type it, so I just did a quick little video and put it in the playlist and made it unlisted for the most part. But you can still find it about reading the lane front to back, which will be a video that we will be doing within the next couple of months. We talk about that, the pros talk about that amateur bowlers look at the lane right to left if they're right-handed, or left to right if they're left-handed, and really you should be looking at a lane front to back. Where is the ball hooking, and how much is it hooking, and is it going through the skid, is it going through the hook, is it going through the roll phases, and is it doing it in the right order and in the right spot, and looking at the bowling ball as it's traveling down the lane. So we will be doing a video about that very, very soon. And then the last video that came out recently, I think it came out Monday, is about targeting. I threw up a little clickbait, targeting the right way, which is a total misnomer. There are as many ways to target as there are bowlers. But I explained the way I target in this video, and it's out on, it just came out on Monday. I think it's a really good video, and by looking at the way I target, you might be able to pay a little more attention to the way you target. And that's the reason why I did the video. Not that you should do it my way, just look at the way you target and make sure you have a system for that. I think that's important. A lot of people just get up there and go, all right, I'm going to stand here, throw here, and that's it. I think you could be a little more thoughtful and do that a little bit better if you just paid attention to how you target. Since our last time, we've had several videos from the PBA. The World Series of Bowling is still ongoing. This year has been very interesting in the PBA and the way they've done the World Series and the animal patterns, and I liked it. I've got one on the screen behind me. I think this is a cheetah, maybe. We had two matches going on at the same time. CBS, I think, did a really good job with that. Made it a lot more interesting, having two matches going on at the same time. I thought as it got a little closer to the end, it got a little slow. We were used to the fast-paced with the two matches going on at the same time, and it got a little slow. We did a race to 2 on the animal patterns, and which is not my favorite format. I don't know what it would be. I mean, I get it. They're making it for TV, and it's a race to 2. And then if they tie 1-1, then we're going to go to a 9th and a 10th frame roll off, which I think could be entertaining if we got to that point, which I don't think we ever did get to that point with the animal patterns. which would be exciting. And they're just trying to make it more exciting because bowling, I think, is exciting, but your general fan may or may not. And I'm not complaining. I loved the side by side, the four bowlers going at the same time. Loved that. I thought it was great. I think the bowlers were having a little challenge with it. The ones that make more shows than other ones, they weren't used to that pace. Although I don't think the pace is any different than qualifying, but that seemed to throw off EJ a little bit. But I did enjoy that, and the animal patterns were great. We had Kyle Sherman making a couple of shows, which he hasn't been on TV in a while as a bowler. He's doing a pretty good job, I think, as an analyst. He's getting better and better and better every week. I've been impressed. If you listen to him from the first one to the last one, he's doing much better. He's learning what his role is. His role is to educate as well as bring excitement, and I think he's doing a decent job. We're all used to Randy, and before Randy we had Bo Burton, and Randy kind of did it like Bo did. So Kyle is definitely bringing some knowledge for sure, and he's working on his excitement. I think he's getting much better with that. We still have the actual World Series. The other interesting thing about this World Series is they're traveling all over the place for this. They qualified in one center, bowled the finals in another center, and now they're going back to Thunder Bowl in the arena for the last show of the year for the World Series of Bowling. I mean, there'll probably be some strike derbies and some other things going on after that. But as far as the last tournament of the year, it's going to finish up at Thunder Bowl in the arena, which I had the opportunity in a couple of years ago, going to Detroit and getting to see that. I slid in and wanted to see the arena because I'd never been to Thunder Bowl before, and saw it on TV as a kid, and so I kind of slid in and took a look. It was right before the Junior Gold show 2 or 3 years ago. So I had a good time with that. Evening, 58 Viking. Glad you're here. Didn't have a whole lot of comments today, so we're probably going to shut this thing down unless anybody has any questions. We'll shut it down here in a few minutes. I'm going to give some people, if they have any questions about any of the videos that, since April 22nd, it's been that long since I've been on. If anybody has a question, comment, you got just a few minutes to do that. The other thing I wanted to mention is, and I think he's made the World Series of Bowling show as well, is Darren Tang. As most of you guys know, Darren has won a title as a one-hander, and was a really good one-hander, made several shows as a one-hander. Team USA as a one-hander, and within the last year or so, he has switched to two-handed bowling, and he is actually doing really well. He's kind of up there in points, and I remember watching some of his videos when he first started two-handed. It was not good, and the amount of dedication and time that he has put into his two-handed style is impressive. And he made a show, and I think he has made the World Series show as well. And it would be really cool if he could get a title as a two-hander. He would be the only person in history to win one title as a one-hander and also as a two-hander. So I am kind of rooting for him to pull that feat off. Bowling's been around for so long, it's hard to have new records. Is that the way to put that? New records being done, being created, and this would be one. He'd win a title as a one-hander and as a two-hander. I think that would be a whole lot of fun. Now, the one thing they glossed over this during the show that he was on, and I don't think they should have. During the whole World Series, during qualifying, Darren was throwing his strike ball two-handed. Oh yeah, I don't think I finished the chameleon. So yes, he has one. Thank you, Viking. I appreciate that. I haven't finished that show yet. Thanks. I maybe should have gotten a little warning, but yeah, so he has one as a one-hander and a two-hander. Way to go, Darren. But one of the things they glossed over and they didn't really talk about a whole lot is during qualifying, he was throwing a strike ball two-handed and throwing at his spares one-handed, and his spare shooting was less than ideal. And so he made the change for the show, just for the show. He made the change to shoot his spares two-handed. That takes guts. And especially 10 pins. I coach a lot of two-handers, and 10 pins for two-handers are so difficult. It's, I try to get them to get up the back of the ball and try to deaden their hand, but the way two-handed style works is it is really difficult to remove all of your side rotation out of your swing when you're two-handed. It's not impossible. It just takes a lot of work. And for him to do that just for the show, and the comment really was, it didn't really matter because he wasn't shooting his spares very well one-handed, so what did it matter whether he shot them one-handed or two-handed? And what I have watched so far of the Chameleon show, I've watched the first couple of rounds, and I haven't finished the finals yet, is that I don't know if he missed a 10-pin throwing it two-handed. He hadn't missed it in the first two rounds. He has not missed a 10-pin two-handed. So that's impressive. And I think you're going to see him shooting all his spares two-handed from now on. Matter of fact, I think he drilled a spare ball specifically for the show two-handed because he didn't have one, or he didn't like the one he had. So, interesting. I think it's impressive. If I don't care really what your opinion is, one-handed or two-handed. If I will tell you this: if I could bowl two-handed, I would. I do have one ball that I take with me to tournaments that is a two-handed ball, and my two-handed game. I guess I need to do a video of my two-handed game, which is not great. I actually put too much revs on the ball for the lack of ball speed that I have. If I had the ball speed, it wouldn't be such an issue. But I can't seem to get, the key to getting ball speed is getting your hips turned and then closing those hips down as you release the ball. And my body just doesn't work that way. It's like a golf swing, and I used to be a very good golfer, but I can't seem to close those hips down very well. And so my ball speed is not great. The other thing that may be coming up in the next few months is I am going to need shoulder surgery on my right shoulder. It has nothing to do with bowling. It has to do with the fact that I was trying to lose weight and I was lifting weights, not very heavy weights, mind you, and I did something to my right shoulder during that process, and so actually go to the doctor tomorrow. MRI is being scheduled fairly soon, and I'm probably going to end up with shoulder surgery at some point in time. So I'm thinking about doing something kind of fun. Once I have recovered, and I think if it's rotator cuff, it's probably going to be a 6 to 8 week situation. And once I have recovered enough where I can move, which will probably take 2 to 4 weeks, I'm thinking about producing some videos of me bowling left-handed and trying to do the things that I've been talking to you about in my videos and applying that to my left-handed game. And I'm not going to bowl. Obviously, I can't bowl two-handed lefty because my arm will be in a sling, and that will be a challenge as well because I think my arm will be in a sling for 6 to 8 weeks. But I thought it would be fun to start from the very beginning as a brand new bowler and start throwing the ball left-handed. I fool around with it some. I don't ever try to pick up spares, so it would be. Honestly, I probably have thrown less than 100 shots left-handed in my lifetime, and so I think it might be fun to do a whole video series of me teaching myself how to bowl left-handed. So I hope that is something that is on the horizon for the channel. Probably be late July or August before you would see those videos coming out, but it's kind of something I'm planning on if I have the kind of surgery that I think I need to have. 58 Viking, I started practicing two-handed a month ago. My biggest challenge is consistent side rotation. I throw it dead straight about 65% of the 65 to 70% of the time. Yeah, you're getting up the back of it. Same problem I have. Although I typically, the ball that I have that's drilled for two-handed is a pearl. It's a rattler. And if I'm dead up the back of it, it still hooks like a lot. I don't know what my one-handed rev rate is. I always think it's lower than what everybody tells me it is. Sometimes I feel like it's 250 to 300 maybe. Everybody else thinks I'm 350 to 375. I mean, the joke always is, if you can read the label on your bowling balls, it's going down the lane, you don't have any rev rate, and I guess that applies to me. But I really think my two-handed rev rate is getting pretty close to 500. I pull the lawnmower cord so bad, and my ball speed one-handed is probably 18 to 19 off my hand. On your scoreboard, when you see me throw a bowling ball on something that actually has where it's taking the reading from down lane, I'm usually 14 and a half to 16 and a half, somewhere in that ballpark, which tells me that I'm 18 to 19 off my hand, which is kind of what you see on when they have that posted on the pro videos. I'm not in the 20s, but I'm 18 and a half miles an hour. Two-handed, I'm not sure I'm 14, and so lots of revs, no ball speed, and that's a problem. You're using an axe, it doesn't have to hook, and doesn't have any hook built into it. You are absolutely right. An axe was made to be a spare ball, although the pros are using it in place of a urethane ball these days. It actually does have a core. I believe it's a symmetrical core, but the cover stock is such that it doesn't have a whole lot of hook in it. Get yourself try to do it with a reactive ball. I mean, if you're throwing it straight, throw a reactive ball with your hand up the back. You'll see some hook, especially if you're getting a rev rate on it. And I'm not sure, but I think I have more rev rate than my daughter has two-handed. It's really Actually, I try to take some hand out of it, and I struggle with that. Well, it's been going for a little over an hour. I'm going to give you one more chance to any comments or questions before I sign off with you. I do these lives just so you know I'm alive, and give you the opportunity to ask questions or anything like that. We haven't had that many viewers, and it's because I haven't been very consistent. I think through the summer and getting back into the fall, I will be a little more consistent with these lives, because I will have the time. I probably will be here next Wednesday, and then I'll be off for another week or so. I really, again, appreciate everybody who has subscribed to the channel. The videos, I am way off on where we are subscriber-wise. We are well on our way to 10,000 subscribers. We're at 7,100 right now. We've added 3,700 new subscribers in the last 28 days. Very thankful. We are probably the fastest growing bowling channel in YouTube right now, and I have you guys to thank for that. And I appreciate it, and keep sharing our videos, keep liking my videos. The more often you do that, the easier it is for people to find my channel and get some instruction. We've got a lot of new bowlers coming to the channel who are wanting basic instruction, and that's what I provide. And one of the only ones doing that right now. Probably do need to change the name of the channel from Bowling Over 50 to something else, because it's Bowling Over 50 and beginners, even some intermediate bowlers who, it's funny how many comments, I forgot about that. I forgot to do that. I forgot that that was a thing. And so I put this channel together and started doing this to help bowlers get better. That was my only intention. I'm not in it for the money, because I'm not making any money really on the channel right now. I'm doing this to help you guys, and that there wasn't anybody out there giving basic instruction to beginning and bowlers that are over 50. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing it. And you guys have really stepped up and subscribed and liked my videos, and people are finding me from all over the world, and that right there is just flat cool. Viking wishes me a happy good evening, and I wish all you guys, and if you listen to this after the video has stopped being live, I want you guys to get out there, do some practicing, watch the videos, try some of the things, record yourself, see if you're doing it similarly to the way I'm suggesting, and get better. Bowling is so much fun, and it's a lot more fun when you're striking and sparing. I promise you that. When you're not striking and sparing, bowling can be frustrating, but when you're striking and sparing, bowling is a blast. And so I want you to get out there, have fun, and good bowling.